Rotate device. We never did before.
Make everybody seasick.
Rotate device again.
Y'all hang on a minute. We done forgot how to do this. Let me know can you hear us because
I guess it's not going to do it unless you put it up. It says rotate device again. You have to do it the other way. We're sideways.
we got Mark Young.
Can anybody hear us?
Let us know if you can hear us. I don't know what we have done wrong here. We ain't got something right.
It's going to have to be this way.
No, it don't go that
See,
way.
the rotate device went away.
Y'all hang on a minute. Camera's dirty.
Oh, that's much better.
That's more better.
Nope.
I can't read the comments though because they're coming up the wrong way.
Oh, Lord, let's see what this thing's doing.
Alright, we'll do it this way. We got Flat Broke Homestead. I don't know why we didn't think of that name. We thought about Broken Hungry. Got Mark Young. Donald Levone. Derek Cato. Says we're sideways. Which way are we sideways now?
You're
Got
straight
Raising
now.
Faith.
You're straight now. You're gonna have to do it the tall way.
What in the world?
Yeah.
This is new. This ain't been being a problem.
Well, it's a new laptop. I mean, tablet too.
No, I've done lives on this tablet before.
I think you did one.
Got Miranda, Bullard Farms, Keith. Hey, Keith. I was just talking to Keith on Facebook a while ago. No, there's a stand that'll hold it up if I ever get it right. It's all crooked. Well, how's everybody been doing? We feel like we're out of touch. It's been so long since we've done a live. We got Fritz from North Dakota.
There's Johnny Sharp.
And Johnny. John, I ain't talked to you for a minute. I'm gonna tell you that red and white boy we got from you. He's doing good. Darlene's here. You just can't see her because the tablet's a piece of junk. Got Hedge. It's a Hedge. Hedge Farms. Todd Dykes.
From Hippie Hill Hog Farm in Florida.
Derek Cato. Yeah, that's one thing that amazes me is how many people watch us from just everywhere in the world.
Got 29 people. That's not bad.
You got Don. Well, if y'all have anything in particular you want to talk about, let me know.
I don't have comments. Why don't I have comments?
And I'm still having to tap the screen to keep the comments up.
Live chat. Ah. Okay. Comments. Can you hear them? Can I hear
There's
them?
Raising Faith. Well, we're sorry we haven't been doing the lives, but to be honest with you, it's a little hard on me to do them. Got James Harris from Wisconsin.
Raising Faith. Mark Young.
Hogs are doing pretty good, Mark.
James
We keep
Harris.
getting bigger. It's 50s, sometimes 60s in the daytime. Nights are getting down around freezing. Derek said he's been back and forth about keeping a boar.
Hey, y'all. Can hear you fine. Okay, good. DeAndre.
Ecuador. Paul Green's in Ecuador.
Well, the one above you wants to know if you have any pure Duroc piglets for sale and how much.
No, I don't. I don't have any full blooded right now. We just got rid of our full blooded boar. I actually had an email right before we came up here from a guy said he had some full blooded boars. Melissa, I'm glad to hear that. We've been having a lot of problems finding purebred boars that were any good. You can find them, but they're not. Oh yeah, Keith, come over here next time we barbecue one. I'll show you how to take it off of the torch. You're close enough. I can show you, Brent. I tell you, Derek, I don't like AI.
What's the little pink can?
I guess it's a wave.
Oh, okay.
Look, I didn't monetize this. I forgot to. So don't try doing any super chats or anything. It won't let you do it.
I wonder if I can get it in. Well, there's a dollar sign thing there.
Well, I don't know. I forgot to monetize it. It amazes me we got people from Ecuador watching us. I don't like the AI because you don't know what you're getting. And if you've got the boar here, you know what the boar did. You got a pretty good idea what his offspring are going to do. I'm glad that we didn't sell hardly any of them for breeding stock, and I'm glad. I'm really glad. We only had one litter off of one of my sows that would have been full blooded, and something happened. I think she mashed part of them, or anyway, we didn't have many boars in that litter to sell, and I'm glad we didn't. Not sure. Okay, flop eared versus prick eared. No, there's no health issues one way or the other. I don't like prick eared pigs for a dumb reason. Uh, the one thing about a flop eared pig, they can't see where they're going. Their eyes go in front of their face like blinders on a mule. But I don't like prick eared pigs because when you go to feed them, they'll swing their head and the feed will hit their ear and swing all over everywhere. That's the only reason I don't like them. We got Michigan, Richmond Place Homestead. But as far as health issues or anything else, I just don't like prick-eared pigs. So we're going to have a bunch of them because we've got a Hampshire Cross boar now. But y'all know I'm not a big fan of AI. I like to have the boar on site. Got Edward from Virginia. But we have had a lot of trouble. These new bloodline boars, boars that have much of the new bloodline in them, especially the ones that come from AI, they don't have the vigor. They just can't get it done. We just had a problem with that. We got Inside Track from West Georgia. And I don't know, we just had a rough time with boars the last 2 years. Y'all know I bought a purebred Duroc boar, paid a bunch of money for, and it's supposed to be an old line Duroc. And he wanted a bit more full blooded than I am. The shot is foolproof. The shot is foolproof. Um,
No, it won't let me pull it up to monetize it. I guess while you're on.
but if the only way you can get it done is to horse paste, it works fine. Got Farwell from Greensboro. David, I don't know about the wild pigs. They're a nuisance around here. And I don't know where you're at, but here in North Carolina, you can't take them out of a trap alive. It's against the law to take them out of a trap alive. So you can't like take them and feed them out and try to make anything out of them. I'm not supposed to anyway. I'm sure people do it, but
Considering getting a couple of full-blooded Berkshire gilts just weaned and trying to find Duroc boar crossed with a good meat pig.
well, it'd probably be better if you just got your Duroc and let the Berkshire out of it. Berkshires are okay. They're most of the bad reputation they got from their mothering ability or lack of it. But I'm not a big Berkshire fan. And to be honest with you, it's the only large, old-fashioned breed I don't like. So that should tell you something. Most of the old hog guys around here, if you say Berkshire, they kind of spit on the ground.
Oh, we're up to 40.
Well, good.
Got Florida, Greensboro,
I think we got the whole.
42.
Well, we got South America, Canada too. So somebody said something about Richmond. So they're looking at a pair of breeder pigs this spring. I don't know how far away from y'all are, but Lucas, I'm glad to hear that.
Louisiana.
We got several here from Louisiana. But I don't know how far away from y'all are, but if you'll let me know ahead of time.
Donald Lalone. New to channel, watched all the videos, hoping to get pigs in the spring.
Richards in Washington. Um, hey, Crane and Riggin. There's Jeffrey. But if you'll let me, you got to let me know ahead of time, because every pig you have isn't breeding stock. You got to hand pick the breeding stock.
Indiana, Georgia.
That's Crane and Riggin. We're old friends. Jeffrey's here a lot. But I'll get you something decent. But more and more, I'm going to crossbreed. Just there's no beating around the bush. Crossbred is tougher, better, stronger, faster. It's just I have 1,000 times better luck with the two-way crosses and 2,000 better with the four-way. We try to stick with maybe Durock on all sides, where you get have a Durock cross board or a Durock cross sow, but try to get some kind of consistency. But the crossbreeds do a million times better. They just ain't no comparison. Kind of like dogs. No matter what kind of dog you get, they ain't gonna do as good as them. But
Where are you going?
I'll be back momentarily.
Hey, y'all. He'll be right back. What kind of sauce? We have, we order a chorizo mix from Amazon that we give to the people. They don't have chorizo. And we just do a regular, I guess, sage base, old timey country sausage. Prince George. The pups, yeah. There's one sleeping on the couch right now. We picked one that looked just like Samson to keep. So yeah, we got puppies. We have, Lord, so many dogs. You think we were a pound around here, a kennel or something. We do have chickens, but we have a bunch of mixed breed chickens. We have a bunch of Rhode Island Reds. All right, we've got 2 white roosters that.
We got Rhode Island Reds, and
What's the white roosters?
they look like Delawares, but light Sussex.
Light Sussex. Then we've got some
A new addition to the family.
this. Exception's baby, and he looks just like him. Wait till his ears stand up. I can't wait. I want his ears to stand up. It's gonna look just like him.
That's 30 years of breeding to come up with the perfect farm dog.
His ears. Y'all see him?
And he's got one sister I ain't spoken for if anybody wants.
I'm trying on that one. We have Not decided on a name yet. Chris wants me to name him something that's like cupcake or sugar or precious. And there's a reason behind that.
Are you keeping up with the comments?
I only got one over. I've got a pre-order on 3 piglets that are Old Spot Duroc and Hampshire Duroc. Do they sound like they make good pigs?
Oh.
Don't break it.
Yeah.
What do we
Y'all
put in
give me
our
just a
sausage?
second.
What do we put in our sausage?
Keith, did you want a puppy?
We got one. One girl.
You know, Keith might told me he wanted a puppy, and I thought he was joking. Yeah, they're ready, Keith. First shots and worms, if I get the shots.
They're on backwards, just where we go.
We're actually doing a spot Duroc cross now too, Faith.
Just stay right there.
The only thing about the Old Spot is they're a little bit of a slow growing breed.
Yes.
But so far, it hasn't been enough to cause a problem.
Heat lamps, yes.
Yes, we run heat lamps in the summertime, but you only have to run them
when they're little tiny.
3-4 days maybe till they get where they're moving really good. And the purpose of the heat lamp in the summer is to get the piglets away from the sow. That's the only thing it's there for. When they're real small and the crush rate's high, the heat lamp will get them away from her.
Looking heat.
Where they'll go get her in the lamp, instead snuggling up to her, and it'll save some pigs. But you don't need it long. But always remember, it's over 100 degrees inside a hog. So even at 90, they'll go get her in the heat lamp. Corn salad, sweet potato salad, cabbage feet. Yes, you could do that. It's going to increase time to finish. May almost double it. But yes, you can do that. That's what they used to do in the old days. And somebody asked me something about pea vine hay. Yes, you can dry pea vine hay and bale it in its hay. You treat it just like you would peanut hay or grass hay. In fact, that's what they used to do here.
What do we put in our sausage?
What do we put in our sausage?
Yeah, somebody asked and I didn't know. I know that we do a sage base old timey sausage mix.
Well, we do medium and hot, and not too bad, Derek. It's only an aesthetic problem, and honestly, a little bit of burnt oil down the back will usually fix it. Well, it was good enough for great granddaddy. They've been doing it ever since they had engines to burn oil, so I don't. They used pine tar for that. Anyway, it's just a mite. Ivanbeck may fix it, and if that don't, a little bit I guess if you wanted to be different about it, Vaseline would work. Well, I think we got one left, Keith, and you're welcome to it. That would make the best farm dog you ever had. Razor Fay, I think you made an excellent choice. They should be really good for you. It should be something real similar to what we have.
Don't.
It's hard to go wrong with a Gloucester or a Duroc. But we've got some Tamsworth and some of our stuff too, and it's just the Tamsworth, the growth rate on a Tamsworth and an Old Spot are just about identical. They're real similar. The feed conversion is just a hair worse, and time to top is well, David, the cow that does the absolute best here is the Santa Gertrudis in the summer, no doubt. And my co-star is doing RUNNOFT.
The puppy had got something that he was fixing to tear all to pieces. And you're kind of the star attraction, so go with it.
Well, Keith, we're going to start making Piney if we get any, because they've quit making it. And I'm not sure how that's going to work. I ain't talk about too much up here. We're going to have to bootleg some or something. But the guy that made it was in somewhere close to us. Yes, Jeffrey, it'll run. It just may not have quite as. Of course, they ain't never got no oil pressure, no way. It's going to hurt your oil pressure a little bit. But it's a low RPM engine. Uh, I seen one run for 2 years one time with a boot tongue wrapped around the crankshaft. Watched the old guy soak a boot tongue and STP wrapping around a crank and bolt up the cap. Hey, there's Red Tractors. He'd be the perfect one to answer that question, Jeff. But yeah, it'll run. Like I said, you just might not quite have enough oil pressure. David said they got Brahma Angus cows.
Mm. It's slowing down on the comments. I guess they're all gonna come at one time.
Well, we've had that happen before. You know, a video we're gonna make. Well, I was gonna make it today, but we've had a lot of emails, a lot of questions, and a lot of people talking about. Everybody's concerned about money. Hey, there's High Desert Ranch. Everybody's concerned about money and feed and whether or not they're making any money on the farm. And something I'll tell y'all, kind of give you a little heads up. Uh, if you don't know if you're making money, if you start anything like this, it's real easy to do. Just on paper, loan yourself the money to do it. Say you're gonna get chickens. You spend $400 getting chickens. Write that down.
What'd you say, though?
Like you were talking about, all the comments come at one time. There's Piney Woods Homestead. Derek, we're glad to help. That's why we do this. Well, I didn't get up at 4. Tractors off. I understand. You know, Donald, electric fences work for pigs till they don't work. And when they don't work in a big way. Hey, there's Ron Fitch from Richlands. We know exactly what Richlands is. David, I don't. Well, really don't now. We don't have any cows, but
What's he showing up over there?
Don, none for you. Uh, there it can cause, well, these old timey breeds of pigs, it can cause some foot problems. But there's a reason why the industry standard is raising them on concrete. For you, it's 1,000 times better all the way around. Other than having to wash out pins or scrape out pins and then doing something with the waste. If they're on dirt, they walk it in, you lime it, it turns into dirt. Uh, well, I'm not going to say I'm against it, Derek, but it's unnecessary and it's the least productive way to do it. It has no benefits whatsoever. I know it's preached on YouTube and preached on YouTube to raise pigs on pasture, but we did it for decades and decades and decades, and there's a reason everybody quit doing it, and it's a waste of land, and like I said, I can't give you a single benefit to it, other than it makes you feel better.
What?
And then there's the little gimmick grass-fed pork, which there's no basis to either. But we raised pigs on pasture for, I don't know, a generation or two. Well, maybe we can do that, High Desert. We had a cold snap here a few weeks ago. I thought about you the whole time. I couldn't deal with that mess. It'll help with the smell. It won't help with it won't help with the muddy. The only thing that helps with the muddy is rotation or drainage or both. Yeah, desert, I don't understand. You know, Mark, if they are, I can't find them. I found one guy in Indiana or Ohio that says he has spotted Poland but honestly, the more I talked to him and researched it, he didn't. He had a spotted pig that looked like a Poland but it wasn't a Poland. And to give him credit, he was doing a good job of trying to breed them back into existence. But I don't really think there are. I had people tell me they are until I really investigate it, and they call them an old spot or something along them lines. Or Lucas, like I said, the best thing to do is rotate. That's how we handle that is rotate it. We take them out of the pens. Of course, we have really well drained sandy land. That makes a difference. But we take them out of the pens, let the pens dry, and put them back in. The only pens we have to have hogs in them pretty much all the time are our sow pens, and they're a little bit bigger. They're 30 by 50s, and there's only 3 sows per each pen. And a muddy spot is fine. You just don't want the whole pen to be a sloppy mud hole. The, the best cross we've ever had, honestly, has been what the guy said was an old spot. Now, you take that for whatever it was worth. He didn't know what he had, and I didn't either, but it was a white spotted pig that grew really good and had the right type for us. Crossed to a Duroc, and then the offspring off that crossed to a Duroc Hampshire cross, made our Carolina Gold pigs. And by far, that's been the best crossbreed pig we've ever. In fact, they did so well that we've turned them into kind of a breed. And what we got out of that was a gold pig with a white underline and white feet, more or less a Duroc shape with the Hampshire hams on it and a good growth rate. In fact, one of them set the feed conversion record, really for the whole county. Miranda, we have weather like that sometimes here.
Please don't eat that.
Problem that High Desert has is this like 20 below or something. This waist deep snow, 20 below, froze solid, stuff we don't know nothing about. We know about wind. We know about high seas. My best friend will try to go fishing in 10-foot seas
Yeah.
in a heartbeat.
He thinks it's cool.
At 10-foot seas, I don't even want to be at the beach, much less on a boat. I think they're on the oil rig.
nowhere to go.
We're not too bad, Logan. Hope you're doing good. Oh, take her for a second.
Hey,
Keep track of the comments. There's questions asked them out loud.
alright. I've done this before. Okay. How's your weather there now? We are probably going from 30,
35 degrees in at night, 50 something in the daytime.
50s in a day.
You get a day every once in a while, 70 or 80.
Earlier this week it was nice. It was like
80.
yeah.
Got to 78 one day.
Oh, we have another addition. Come here.
Another puddle, too.
This is Maggie. She was inherited.
They probably don't know nothing about that.
Yeah, I lost my mom in November, and she was my mom's dog, so she came to stay with us. She lives with us now, and she's so spoiled, rotten. Usually, if you see me or Chris sitting anywhere, she's in one of our laps. She's rotten. We think she's a Dachshund Pomeranian mix. She's the softest thing, so soft. And so cuddly. Hey. Say hey to everybody. Say hey. See? Say hey. Get down. Oh, okay. Yep. She's my baby. Oops. I think we got a comment. Thank you. Kind of sudden. Didn't expect it, but no. Don't really have much I can say about it. But we have Samson, Eli, Maggie, and a puppy, which is yet to be named. We're working on that. Then we have Braun and Braun's litter outside.
We need a short biblical name that'd be okay for a dog.
Thought about Luke, but just as raw tongue as well. I want to name him Cookie. Chris won't want to name him Cookie. Been mild in Wisconsin lately, above 30. Some days lows in the teens. Ooh, I don't like teens. We had that. I didn't like it.
Yeah, it got like
16.
Yeah, lower than that one night. I got
Yeah.
like 13 or 14.
It was colder than I liked it. Don't eat my plant. Sorry. Get him. He's trying to eat a plant. It's gonna make him have an upset stomach too.
No.
I've got a great big. I don't know what is that.
I don't know.
Oh, it's about.
That's a funeral plant. We have no clue what it is.
Yeah.
We're just stuck with them.
But it sits in the corner, and apparently the puppy thinks that the leaves taste delicious.
I'm sorry about this. So we've got serious stand issues.
You want to sit my lap?
Fred said he was sorry about you, Mama.
Thank you.
Sleep below zero every night.
No.
It got below zero here once.
I'll be going to retiring to Florida.
Back 92.
No.
We ain't over it yet. We got stuff still ain't thawed out.
Oh, blue thing. Don't scratch my leg.
But you know, our cold month is usually
Snow
February.
around mid-November until the 1st of April. I like snow. I think it's pretty. I don't want nobody to step on my snow while I've got it, and I want it gone the next day.
That's about what snow usually does.
Mm-hmm. I don't want anybody to step on it because I want it to look pretty.
You got 24 hours of snow.
Thank you.
And we had one year though it snowed a lot.
Yeah, we haven't had a good snow.
It got a foot deep one time.
Several years though. It's been 4 or 5 years since we've had a good snow. 4 feeder pigs, pin size.
For 4, ideal. Oh, probably 16 by 24 with 6 by 8 shelter, depending on where you're at. If you're somewhere cold, you might need to do 4 sides on that shelter with a door. Here we just do 3 sides. But you don't want to give them any more room than you have to. You don't want them in a confinement pig situation where they ain't got room to move around, but you don't want them on an acre where they ain't run it off.
No.
Mine is 15 subarctic. -15.
No.
And after a week they hit 67. That sounds like here.
Not cool. I wouldn't like that at all.
Yep, Piney Woods it was. It was in the late 80s. It was about a foot. No, James, we don't have anything to deal with snow. There's one snow plow in the whole county, a salt truck. And Central Florida last night, 35, night 38, and back to 68. We're not as warm as you are, but we're really not that far behind you. We're coastal North Carolina. We have the Gulf Stream. And that makes us substantially warmer than the western part of the state. I mean, it can be a big difference just from a 4-hour drive here make a big difference in the weather. The snow line's usually about Raleigh. Raleigh west, they get snow fairly often. Down here, we don't get it much. But 1980, I think, was the record. It might have been 84. I don't remember exactly.
Would they be interested in regular lives again?
Oh, yeah, everybody wants us to keep doing lives. Fritz, we make lard and make cracklings. We don't use that much lard. I have enough left over for making cracklings. For Darlene don't use it much. I use it some when I cook.
I don't trust
And we
it.
scrape hogs. We don't. I've never skinned a hog except the wild hog.
Tasmanian.
Hey, Michael. And we've got a new way of scraping them now. We burn the hair off them with a propane torch. That works great.
We've had quite a few pig.
We skin wild hogs. Central Eastern,
Hey,
I guess. Well, south of Central Eastern.
talking about the snow, we are on. Well, actually, there's like an invisible line that kind of any snow that comes from the mountains towards eastern North Carolina kind of ends here. If it comes from the ocean, yeah, we get quite a bit. If it comes from the opposite.
Hey, Clearwater. Well, I've never, like I said, we sell holes. There, due to our state regulations, technically I can't sell a half. Technically, we're operating in a gray area anyway, and I don't want to push my luck. Statesville, we got several people from Statesville coming here to buy pigs. Several.
Mhm.
How long is it?
I don't remember.
Must be about 4 hours.
Hey,
Justin.
what did I tell you about that plant?
Well, you burn and scrape, Fritz. You take that propane torch and you go over the pig and you scrape them with the back of your butcher knife and you get most of the hair off. And I can do it with, I'm kind of good with both hands. So I can take the torch in this hand, the butcher knife in this hand, and I can go along and you burn until you see the skin start drawing up. When it just starts drawing up, you scrape as you're going. And I can make it happen pretty quick. You know, in the old days, you put them down in water about liquor still hot and sloshed them around. and the hair would start pulling out. You take the old jar lid or not razor sharp, but fairly sharp knife, and you scrape and get pull the hair out. Takes top layer of skin off. But we've never skinned a tame hog. Like I said, we skinned them old wild hogs. I don't know why. You better off. Best thing to do with them is give them away. But we ain't never had one that's fit to eat. They all taste like river bottom mud. Justin, I think we're 4 hours. Might be a little further than that from Station.
Is Johnny Sharp still in here?
Yeah, Johnny Sharp's from up there. I can't remember what temperature is on that water. I know you got to have it a little hotter than these because when you put pig in it, cools off. I think it's 170 degrees. Well, Clearwater, my health still ain't good. Um, I don't know if not good is the right word for it. It's actually pretty bad, but a lot of times by the time Doreen gets off work, I'm not shape enough to do a video. Can't have talk. Can't breathe. Something be wrong.
He always is short of breath now.
Hey, Bill. How you doing? Uh, well, my heart's not pumping. You know, it's stuck at what, 78 beats a minute or something.
Well, the pacemaker is set at 70, I think, or 60. And you exceed that a little bit.
See, Johnny was in here.
Yay! What did it say? States was about 30, what?
Said about 4. He's about 30 minutes west of us. So you're actually in Thomasville, Johnny. Is that right? That crowd that come in and got them pigs the other day was from Statesville, Thomasville, somewhere fairly close. I don't know if I'm getting any better or not, Clearwater. Sometimes I think I am, then I'll find out real quick I ain't. I'm like an old truck with the throttle cable broke. I can idle around in low gear and do all right, but if I ever try to shift a second, Derek, I see people trying to do what they call ferment feed and soak hog mixed feed or hog mash. Everybody has a different name for stuff, but the old regular old ground up corn hog feed. And all it seems to do to me is make a mess, and they don't seem to like it after it's been wet. I've seen people soak corn, soak whole grains, wheat, rye, millet, oats, and we soak corn with a little molasses in it. My daddy used to soak corn, put salt in it. I like for it to ferment a little bit and feed it in limited quantities. You're supposed to be looking at comments.
Oh, I got distracted.
But a small amount of fermented feed of some description does seem to help. And like I said, I don't soak ground feed, but I see people do it, mostly on YouTube.
Apparently there's a delay.
Yeah, there's a delay. They all show up at one time. Either that or everybody types at the same speed.
And what did you step on him? And I'm back. Okay, again.
My ankles were getting viciously attacked. I had to do something.
Well, I'm trying to get the chat to come up over here. According to this, you're still on. There we go. You can see top of my head at least. Can y'all really only see top of my head? There we go. Ugh, I'm frozen. Okay. I don't. Soak and feed. He'll be back in a minute. He'll talk about that. I know he does soak corn, whole corn, kernels, to soften it up.
Yeah, you soak it to soften it up, soak it for 3 days. Then you soak it for about a week and a half. In the summer, it'll ferment and become 12% alcohol.
Mm. See, they can see my whole head. All right. Hey, Chris, did you tell me you had a tractor junkyard around there? I'm in dire need of a lower grill section for my Super A, and they're always rusted out.
You can buy them new.
Clearwater said moonshine. Soaking your corn.
Y'all need to hush, but I will say.
High Desert said VV. I don't know what VV is.
I will tell you this: if a man wanted to make him a little liquor and had him some soaked corn grain left over after he made said liquor, one, if you put the barrels at the hog pen, they can't smell them. And two, then you got something to feed the mash to after you make it.
Y'all don't listen to him. He'll get you in trouble. Bad influence.
Well, I'm just saying, if somebody wanted to do that.
See, you're heavy-handed. You tell him the lower grill could be.
You can buy new ones, Jeffrey. Yesterday's tractor, but I don't have their phone number right handy. But it's Green's Auto Salvage in Eureka, North Carolina.
Greene. Green.
That's right, James, but you ain't supposed to talk about stuff like that.
What did you do to the puppy this time?
He wanted to get on the couch and figured out I wasn't going to sit down on it. Then he wanted to back off.
Y'all hear him crying? He wants to get on the couch. Now he wants to get off the couch. We need some dog steps so he can get on and off the couch himself till he gets bigger. Like Eli, who weighs probably about 80 pounds now. Eli he's another one of Samson's babies, but he's just almost back height that much higher than Samson. Samson looks like a little bitty dog beside him.
Explain to everybody how long I've had these dogs.
This lineage, I don't know, 30 years, 40 years?
40 years.
Since he was a teenager, kid. See, Mommy wants my ears to stand up like my daddy's. See, wouldn't you look so much cuter with little stuffed ears?
They might stand up, they might not.
Eli's kind of went up and flopped. They didn't ever stand. They got a little bit of a height to them, but they flopped.
Eli's got too much bird dog in him.
Mm-hmm. Chris swears that he has picked me to be his person. What do you think? Are you my person? Am I your person? Oh, look at there. There's another dog looks just like you. See? You see that? Oh. Like, I know who he is. See? Sorry, I have my hands.
Piney Woods, good night. We'll talk to you later.
Actually, there's new regulations about it. You can make it. I don't think you can transport it.
Hey, Jim. No, you can't make nothing. I have people tell me that mess all the time. Well, you make 5 gallons, let them catch you. That's kind of like you ain't got to wear your seatbelt if you got farm tags. Everybody believes it, but it ain't true. I don't know, Derek. I know a lot of people buy them 2 pigs and start trying to raise them. I mean, the truth is, you go to messing with them, you'll learn fast. You know, it's third baby's due. Well, congratulations, James.
5 days.
Y'all missed the video where Darlene got my pigs drunk.
Did we do a video on that one?
Yeah, well, we didn't show the drunk pigs, but we
Yeah,
talked about it.
Yeah, I'm serious. They were sitting there staring at the sky like.
I think I've heard that place, Mark.
You could tell by the way they were sitting. They weren't even sitting like normal pigs. They were sitting like, I don't know, flopped over sitting. Like,
They were looking at the sky,
yeah,
falling over, staggering.
Yeah, he got mad. He said that he thought I just about killed him.
Well, they can't
Poisoning.
metabolize alcohol like people can. It's not
Alcohol
a good
poisoning.
thing. Yes, they do, Donald.
I didn't know that
They do get bored.
they couldn't have the juice.
And they usually take out their boredom by breaking stuff.
Oh yeah, tearing up
If something
everything
moves,
around.
they'll move it until it breaks. If a board's loose and they can rock it back and forth, they're gonna rock it back and forth to tear it off the shelter.
If there's anything in the metal rods that go to the what do you call them? Big hog slats, the thing you make the fences with.
Panels?
The panels. They'll pull the. We've got two that keep pulling the rods out of the panels.
That's because they're defective Tractor Supply hog panels.
Well,
I
they
don't know if we ever
still
talked about
they
that or not.
find the pinged. They find the loose one, and once they find it, it's done. They've pulled it. They'll pull it off. Oh, sorry. I was trying to rotate my way, and I rotated the whole thing.
And if a piece of tin moves, they're gonna move it till it breaks. They're good for that.
Sorry, y'all. I'm not trying to make you drunk or nothing. Just trying to keep both of us on camera from time to time. Don't want nobody on camera. Yes, pigs get really bored. That is true.
And you can make pig toys. Back in the old days, we bury a light pole in the middle of the pen. We had them on bigger pens and chain a tire to it, like a big truck tire. And you go in there sometimes and throw a little bit of shelled corn or something inside that tire where they can move it around, get a little corn out of it.
Well, I've seen people put.
They put bowling balls in concrete pens on confinement farms. Let
People
them roll
put
around.
tractor tires in there so that they can flop them around, because they're strong enough they can do it. But you got to watch your pen because they'll flop them on the
Well,
pen.
glad
and
to
get
be
out.
back a little bit, Holly. Well, we just talked about the tire.
Well, no, this was loose. This.
Well, I was reading. I couldn't hear you.
Oh.
I can't listen and read at the same time.
Woven wire.
Yes and no. It'll work as long as you put a hot wire around the bottom of it. Without the hot wire, it's iffy. It may work for a little while, but it's too easy to go under. Back in the old days, before they had electric fences, they used it, and they would put a post every 4 foot and a stop in the middle, just a short post to hold it in the ground. But woven wire with an electric fence a foot off the ground is perfect. That's a good way to put it, Clearwater. It'll keep in a little pig. But Miranda, they actually sent out a newsletter from the farm office about that. And yes, a load of shot is a slug up to about probably 15, 20 feet. So yes, that will work. We've done it before. We never used steel shocks, didn't have any, but 20 gauge. And they said use number 4 shot or up, but we've done it with number 8s. At 5 or 6 feet, number 8s work fine. But it's a slug when it's coming out of the gun. Jeffrey, try greens. And I might could find you one if you'll remind me. Send me an email and remind me. Yeah, they probably have fun playing with the old Christmas tree. Problem we run into stuff like that around here is they run it into the fence.
Yeah.
And Clearwater's right. Nothing beats a hog panel. Not a cow panel, not a stock panel, not a net wire fence, not a field fence, not a anything. Nothing beats a hog panel. Unless you get them from Tractor Supply and they don't and the well is no hole. We've only got 2 that have done that. But it's been the 2 we got and the ones everybody else got too. It was a bad batch. And in typical Tractor Supply fashion, they don't care. And Jeff, if you'll remind me, I'm sure Tisco's got every other part of a Super A. One of the Super A you needed it for? No, Logan, there's no benefits to the cow panel. I don't know how to explain this or know how to tell you why it's this way. But cow panels, the new ones, not the old ones. Now, if you've got some old 30-year-old cow panels, they don't fall in this boat. But the new cow panels aren't anywhere near as tough as the new hog panels. They seem to be the same gauge steel, but maybe they're softer. I'm not sure what the problem is, but the pigs will destroy a cow panel in no time. They're cheaper, so that should tell you something. That the cow panel is a bigger panel, substantially bigger, but it's lower priced. The difference has got to be in something, and I guess it's just the quality of the steel. Because normally a pig can't walk up to a hog panel and stick their nose in it and bend it up and it bow up, they can with a cow panel. In fact, the last time we had a big hog out, besides the one that went through the back of the shelter, we had one tear the back of the shelter off and get out, was because she walked up to a cow panel, stuck her nose in it, and picked up, and it just bowed up. You're trying to hold a bulldozer in. That's why we tell you to bury the post, 3.5 foot deep, because we've had them. In fact, we had this happen at a neighbor's house the other day. We dropped the boy off. He walked up to the fence, stuck his nose in the fence, picked the whole fence up out of the ground, pulled the post out of the ground, T-post out of the ground, pulled the whole section of fence up and out, and walked under it. We had a sow the other day go under a 5x8 trailer, got her nose up under it, picked it up, set it on her back, and took off running with it sideways. If it's just qualities downhill, the quality of the metal, even the hog panels now are nothing compared to the older ones. And the older you go, the better they get. We've got some out here from the 60s that some of these old farmers have given me. We've got some out here that we bought new and go to cut them. You can cut the new ones with bolt cutters. Hey, there's American Bulldogs. But Logan, we've got one pen here that's built out of cow panels, old cow panels that my daddy had, or might even have been my granddaddy's. They're very old, and they're pretty stout. And the other cow panels we had at the old hog pens, we cut all them down into hog panels, used them in the loading chutes. They were already rusted off on the bottoms, so we cut them off, cut them down to hog panel height, and used them in the loading chutes. We're not really keeping anything in. Let me catch up on the comments right quick. I will miss one. Hey, how you doing? The only thing you do, Bulldog, is put electric fence about 12 inches off the ground. We have had trouble with them going right beside the fence and rooting down. We've had them go down 3 feet. If there's anything in the ground, they can find it. But if you'll go, and we usually don't do it in these small pens, but we have had to, and we had trouble with them doing that, is you go right beside the fence, use the insulator, space it out 4 inches, maybe 6 inches, and put you in a electric fence. Good night, Faith. It was good to see you. And that'll fix it. And you may be able to take it back out. Hey, Prep for Eternity. I don't like the electric fence around the bottom of the hog panels because we wire everything. Everything's attached to the hog panel. There's a concrete slab for the water trough that's attached to the hog panel. There's the feed troughs are attached to the hog panel. But that's about all you can do.
Got caught. I was looking.
Well, everybody catch up with the comments.
Brett for Eternity says glad to see you.
Anybody want a bag of pecans?
I was gonna take me to David. Hey, can y'all hear me? In the shell. We even have pecan cracker things. You can get them at Walmart. I got them at Walmart at Christmas time for $2.
That's what we gave a lot of people for Christmas. Was fruit and nut baskets.
We made really pretty baskets and put pecans and fruit and nuts and some candies and stuff in them, and put those little cracker things in them. And they turned out really nice.
I ain't putting you back up there.
He's talking to the puppy. He wants to get back on the couch. He has to get up and walk every so often. He's got a back issue, affects his hips. He can't sit on these hard chairs. And cushions don't help, so he just gets up every 10-15 minutes and goes, walks around and comes back. Let's see.
You know, we're supposed to have snacks for lives. Remember that?
Oh, you pulled this one on me. Oh. Whoopsie. Sorry. Making people sick. Electric does wonders for pigs. They don't like it one bit. No, they don't. Um,
Depends on the pig.
Now ours will hit it and run.
Some of them.
Most of them. We've got one that figured it out. She's a hussy, and she would go and push her whoever was in the pen mate, her pen mate, into the electric fence. She don't do that so much anymore because the one that she's in with now is about the same size as she is and doesn't take any junk off of her. But if you put her in with a smaller pig, yeah, she'll push them onto the electric fence every time.
She's trying to push them through it so she can get out. She's trying to do.
Well, I don't know if she's trying to do that or if she's just mean. I think she's just mean.
And every once in a great while, you get a pig that'll just run through it.
I tried to give you one of those earlier. You've got chocolate still in the living room, don't you?
Where'd Friday?
That's mushrooms. A friend of ours brought me some fried mushrooms. I love them. He hates them. He thinks they're like the devil. He thought they were fried okra.
I'm glad I didn't try to eat one of them.
They were good. I liked them. Take some fried mushrooms and dip them in ranch. Ooh, that's good eating. Back.
Oh. Let's see what I miss.
What is Enzo? What it, I don't know what that.
I don't know how to translate it.
Yeah, it doesn't give us that option right now.
GBO, we're okay. My health still ain't the best in the world, but it is what it is. At Thursday, we're gonna try to start doing them again. Maybe not. We might do one a month. And the only bad thing about it is I don't know if I can do one. I'm having a pretty good day today, but a lot of times by this time at night I can't hardly talk. Jeff, I understand completely. Well, GBA, we all know I don't like Berkshires, but I like laying race. I used to like laying. Fair enough, Brett for attorney.
What?
He said just call him preacher. That's what I've always called him before.
Oh,
Jeff, we've had a lot of trouble with boars too. Jeffrey, that sounds like something we would work on here. No doubt. And I can't weld anymore. Once upon a time, I could take a nickel rod and make that not a problem, but now I can't. I can't even touch a stick welder. I can MIG weld with my small MIG welder a little bit, but it's dangerous. I got to pay a lot of attention to where I stand. I can't be in between the ground and the hot and the work. It's a little bit, preacher. I've got a guy that helps me. We work about 3 days a week. Sometimes I work a day without him, make it 4, or a couple hours, a couple other days, but not really. Yes and no. I don't know how to explain that. I've got some customers that I just pure hate not to try to help a little bit, that depend on me, and a couple of really good friends that depend on me that I try to help some. But as far as actually being open and working, not really. We used to do a lot of land race crosses. They're a longer pig, and longer pigs are better. And that's what you can get. The probably run into a Berkshires is always mothering ability. They make pretty sorry sows. and that seems to be pretty consistent, you know. But that's the only problem you have with them. So crossbred Berkshire, yeah, you probably all right, you know. GBO Trevor uses it to make chicken feed. That's the only thing it does, and he keeps it greased, and they run it short periods of time, and yeah, it's holding up. But I've had several people buy them since we bought that one, local people. And I will tell you, if you put them to hard work
They won't
and run them
last.
too long and don't grease them, they will explode. We haven't had much trouble with the motors burning up, but that little ball bearing, if you don't keep it greased and you don't limit run time to about 30, 45 minutes and grease it, that piece of cast iron will shatter. That bearing will get too hot. It is what it is. It's probably worth the money, and it's very versatile. You can make everything from cracked corn to cornmeal with it, or flour, but it is what it is. It's Harbor Freight quality. You know, $200 is awful cheap for something like that, and that's what you got.
Well,
Yeah, that we did a lot of crossbreed land race,
all it
GBO.
takes is for the bigger one that you had, not the one we have now, but the other one was an accidental rock.
Yeah, that's the other thing you have to worry about a burr meal. If you run a rock or a nut or bolt through it, it's kind of had to gas. Yeah, I don't know, but Jeffrey, about that thing being braised. Braising ain't real permanent. I've done a bunch of it. But nickel rod, somebody knew how to put it, do better.
Chicken feed recipe.
I was supposed to got somebody chicken feed recipe and forgot it.
He forgot to get it. He doesn't have it. I know they put sunflowers in it when we grow sunflowers. We always let them dry out. Try to put sunflowers in them, but he only does that when we have them. I don't think he does that all the time. Um, so I don't know. Aw, thank you. That was sweet. We didn't know if it was working or not because we didn't monetize this one, and I went to try to monetize it after we got on, and it wouldn't let me. So thank you. It won't stay up long enough for me to read it.
What?
I can't get the. Somebody gave us a super chat, but I still can't get it to stay up long enough.
Oh, it won't work because we're not monetized.
Well, they
I
did
didn't.
it.
Oh, really?
They did it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I didn't monetize the
There.
chat.
The meal that Danny from down south uses.
No. I haven't watched much of Danny in a
Really long.
right good while. Thing fell over
We
again.
will find a
I
way to keep
appreciate that
it.
GBO. I don't know if it'll go through.
We'll
And
find
you
a.
don't owe me nothing for answering your questions. That's why we do this, is to help people.
We'll find something more sturdy
But
to
I
hold
do
it up next
appreciate it.
time.
And Logan, the recipe we put up for the hogs is adequate for meat chickens. It won't it won't do for your laying hens, but it's good enough for the meat chickens, turkeys. Preacher, yeah. Um, we've got a lot of videos we want to do, but like I said, my biggest issue is by the time Darlene gets home from work, especially if I work that day, I'm not usually good enough to do a video. And that's just being honest. I hate to admit it, but that's the way it is. We got 6 right here at the house, and that's where most of the quote unquote homesteading goes on. But we're a small working farm, or we still are as of right this minute. That's something else we're going to do. I'm going back to growing produce. So there's going to be more produce videos.
No, anybody wants any collards?
Well, we planted a bunch of collards. And then we grew a bunch of collards. Having the collards wasn't the problem. Between a lack of advertising and some unforeseen problems at the time we needed to sell them,
My mom died.
we didn't do real good with them. I think we broke even. Well, that's about the truth, preacher. It can be a job at just 6 acres if you're using all 6 of it. 6 hours can be a job if you ain't careful. What are you doing?
Wait for my turn, I guess.
Well, the comments all come in at one time. I don't know if everybody types at the same speed or it's a YouTube thing. Maybe super chats work even if you're not monetized. We're monetized, but I didn't monetize the video. I forgot to do it. Especially on GBO, we used to have a 674. Had a 574 and a 674. I know one thing, they're still a popular tractor around here. Yes, we do, Mark. And we may do it this year. There's a somewhat, at least, of a market for a Georgia red sweet potato. And I have people asking me for them because they're not commercially available. And I may do a small sweet potato bed this year. We better on collard and cabbage seed too, because we raise what's called a cabbage collard, a yellow collard that's not commercially. I only think you can get commercially available seed, the old timey collards. Good night, Jeffrey. But yeah, it's still braised. I've done a bunch of braising. It is what it is. It's better than not fixing it at all. Oh yeah, they're a powerful engine too, GBO. I've never had much trouble with the rats getting in them.
I think another one of the problems with the
You're not there.
comments is that we don't have as many people chatting with each other.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
That used to keep it going a whole lot faster.
Well, we sprung this live on everybody.
Yep.
We didn't give him no notice.
You should have called Geeky.
I'm surprised he can't hear. He probably didn't see the. He probably didn't see the.
Notification.
Yeah, notification. Of course, we don't know who else has got a live tonight too. Might be on somebody else's live. He had me as for a lot of people.
Where'd you put everybody? Good night.
Good night, Flat Broke. We're gonna get off here in about 10 minutes anyway. So that was working out pretty good. But all you basically do to bet them is you dig you out a spot and get them under the ground good. And back in the old days, we need them ready in time enough. You put plastic over top of them, but you don't even have to do that. It is, ain't it, preacher? Uh,
I was yawning. That wasn't fair. We used to going to bed early. I have to admit.
yeah, we normally be asleep by now.
He had me in full yawn as he switched the camera over. Sorry about that.
If it tells you anything, the dogs are already asleep.
Yeah, the dogs are asleep. So that we had 43, I think, at one time. That was pretty good. I didn't expect that for the first live we've done in I don't know how long.
Well, especially when we gave them 2 hours notice.
Yeah. And
this was a little bit of the impulse thing. We had a lot of people asking about the lives.
Apple tree.
They're gonna kill it. GBO trees in a hog pasture don't.
They are more interested in the roots.
Yeah, they'll dig it up and kill it.
They'll eat the roots. Trust me. When we cut out.
It ain't got to be in the pasture. It can just be beside it.
When we cut out those new pins, well, not new anymore, but when we cut out those pins in the backyard, there was.
Preacher, it can if you don't do it right. That's for certain.
They dug them all up to chew on them. All of them. We didn't have to dig them up. They dug them all up.
You know how it is, don't you know how many we got?
7,000 something. Hold on, I'll tell you.
Well, we do this to help people. It's the only reason we do it, and you know we feel like there's people that depend on us and that we're really helping, and that's why we do it now. You know, if we were doing it for the money or the anything else, we wouldn't keep doing it. You know, I don't think we'll ever be a big channel. We're not.
You got 7.22 thousand.
You know the truth is you got to sell the fairy tale or you got to have a girl in a bikini or something to be a big homesteading channel, and we're not willing to do that. And well, I know you have, preacher. Y'all been here a long time. You might have been here longer than that. I believe you've been here longer than that. We try to give as honest information as possible, stuff we know works, stuff we learned the hard way, hence the name. And we've always done this. I mean, I didn't learn how to do this stuff by reading a book or watching YouTube videos. I mean, we've always done it. I mean, my daddy did it, my granddaddy did it, my great granddaddy did it. And we figured out what works and what don't. We figured out what works and what don't with the money. That's very true, GBO. They want to hear the fairy tale. And then there's some things that there's some videos out there that aren't necessarily trying to be dishonest. They just can't figure money. Or they don't understand profit loss, cash flow.
Expenses.
How expensive it can be. You know, we're going to do a video on that today that a lot of times people just can't figure money. They don't know how. You know, and I want you to succeed. I want everybody to do good at this. I want to succeed. And it can be done. But you've got to know what you're actually up against. You got to know what it's going to cost. You got to know what you got to do to make it work. You got to understand that some things may work over here, but don't work where you're at, or work where you're at, but don't work over here. And that's it's important knowledge.
Sorry, hi, Desert. Sorry to hear that.
Well, Desert, you know I'm here for you. You can call me on the phone anytime you need me. Well, you're right, Mark. You're exactly right. And, like eggs right now are a big deal. Eggs are high. And a lot of people think that a lot of people are making, well, you're right, GBO. You can't do that. You can't, you can't buy stuff like that to make this work. You probably can't buy a brand new 10-horse tiller and make that pay for itself. Uh, you'd have to depreciate it over 20 years. People don't seem to understand just basic economics. And the hardest thing you'll ever do is ever get your homestead cash flow. And in today's world with property taxes and everything costing money and, everything just about having to come from town in a way, you've got to be able to make a cash flow. And that's 10 times harder than Granddaddy had it. Granddaddy could make his farm cash flow. We're having a little tougher time with it. For one thing, he didn't need as much cash. There wasn't near as much stuff to spend money on back then. Yes, our yields are 40 times better than everything else, but we're still getting about the same price per item as he was getting in a way. Nobody's willing to pay for better food, or the market for better food really isn't quite there. And I like everybody talking about chickens. Oh, eggs are $6 a dozen or $5 a dozen. If you really figure everything in, you might not be doing near as good as you think you are at $5 a dozen. Years ago, we figured it up. We were at $2.50 a dozen. We were selling them for $3, and you might think you were making a little bit of egg money, but when you really got to figuring it, you ain't paid for the chicken coop yet. I mean, you ain't paid for half the chicken coop, much less pay for the chickens or the incubator or even the egg basket. I mean, my daddy told me one time how to figure out what you were doing. He said, when you build something, loan yourself the money. He said, write it down, loan yourself the money. He said, when you start getting some income off what you're doing, he said, start paying yourself back for what it costs to do it. Yeah, GBO, that's very true. I used to work for them big farming companies. Ranch, that's a joke to me and you, right? But you'd be amazed how many people that think you can do that because they saw a YouTube video telling them they could. And we've been trying to bust that fairy tale. It's common sense. It shouldn't be that hard to do it, but you'd be amazed how many people believe it. And you'd be amazed how many people are using those YouTube videos to convince their spouse that they should do it. That's something else we figured out. A lot of people are showing these fairy tale videos to their wife or husband, trying to convince them they needed to go do it, or that they could do it, or it would work. And if you put up a video telling them the truth, that yes, you can do it, but you're going to have to do it this way, or you might better make sure you got a market for this before you do it. Scott, getting back to the egg thing, there is no market for eggs where we're at. We can sell eggs, but we got to drive at least an hour, Greenville, sell them to Greenville.
Well, once
And
you
then he
get
can't pay the
one,
fuel bill. I mean, there's just
with the way the eggs are going out, we might be able to do the local farm market because it's going to be a big deal this year. But other than that, everybody's got them. But
Jeff, how far are you away from us? Because I've got a boy that'll get them bred now. I might talk to you about this before. Might be a little bit of a drive. Yeah, GBO, they're just it's it's that's what I'm trying to combat. You can do this stuff. You can make certain things work, but you need realistic expectations, and you can't buy that $70,000 tractor. You can't buy a $50,000 pickup truck and a $20,000 cow trailer to raise extra cows. You can't do it. You'll never make it back. Never, ever, ever. I've seen it. I've seen too many people go bankrupt trying. I mean, it can't be done. You know, it's back to the old joke: if I had $1 million, I'd farm till I quit. Jeff, I know exactly what you're dealing with. I've dealt with it myself. I've always been lucky enough to have a boy I could borrow from a neighbor, and in a desperate situation, you might need to try out. We've had a lot of boar trouble. Well, you may have to try it. We figured out the secret to a good boar is don't get a purebred boar. The only ones we had trouble with are purebreds. Uh, and same to be, the better the pig, the worse trouble is. You know, preacher, I won't gonna say that, but that seems to be part of the. That seems to be part of the strategy. Is let's lie to everybody on the internet and see if we can get some money off of that. That really does seem to be part of the strategy. I mean, you've talked about that a lot. Uh, you can kind of tell that's not what we're doing. That ranch, I understand. Jeff, we got one that's breeding now. Well, we ain't had good luck. I'm gonna be honest, we just have not had good luck with purebred boars. Uh, GBO, I'm sure you can. And $2,000 is a pretty good deal. You said it was salvage. Uh, Here they bring about $8,000 as long as you'll see them for 9 or 10. Well, Mark, what's happened here is tobacco's gone out. They won't pay us anything for it anymore, and that's causing some issues. Like I said, I don't know who I was talking to a while ago, GBO, but our favorite crosses are Carolina Gold, and they're 5/8 Durock, the 8th Hamp, the 8th Old Spot, and 5/8 Durock, the 8th Spot, the 8th Hamp, and 8th Chester White.
oh,
I bet y'all are tired of looking at the light fixture. That's true too, Desert. That's true too. Um, Even us, right now, if I didn't run my shop 3 days a week at $60 an hour, let's be honest. If I didn't run it 3 days a week at $60 an hour, I couldn't keep the bills paid here. And we're actually making pretty good money off the pigs, probably the best we ever have. And we're making a little money off produce.
and I work too.
And if Darlene didn't work too, Darlene's a school teacher. But we couldn't pay the bills if all I did was home. And of course, there's, oh, I know, Mark. Uh, Up till about 6 years ago, uh, tobacco was king here. But they told us point blank they could buy it out of Brazil and pay the shipping on it and still get it for half what we wanted, and they just won't go buy no more wires. And it's on the way out, and it's well, Ranch. I'm gonna tell you, I've about figured out if you ain't gonna run at least 4 sows, you don't need to mess with them no way. Getting back to the money, you can make the money work out on 4 sows, but you can't on one. You can kind of sort of make the money out on two, but three's better, four's better than that, six is better than four. Getting back to cash flow and profit, it's numbers. It's all, it's just like your cows, it's all numbers. If you sell 3 calves a year, you can't pay your hay bill. If you sell 30 calves a year, you're kind of sort of doing something. If you sell 300 calves a year, it gets better. Um,
But y'all said your feed.
well, input costs go up, but the more you have of something, the better ways you find of doing it. If you only got 3 cows, you won't go through the trouble of figuring out where to get your hay at the best price or buy the equipment to bale your own hay. If you got 300 cows, you're going to bale your own hay. It's just, I hate to say it, but the more you do of it, the better it works out. It's like getting back to eggs. Eggs are a good example. If you got 8 chickens and you sell a dozen eggs a week, your extras, you ain't done nothing. You ain't paid for the cash, take them over there to sell. If you got 12 hens and sell 6 dozen eggs a week, it's a little better. If you got 32 hens, you might seem like you're doing something because the labor's about the same. The labor to get up 32 eggs a day or the labor to get up 10 eggs a day is not 10 minutes different. There's a difference in the feed bill, but the fuel and the booth rental to carry them to the farmer's market and sell them is the same to sell 8 eggs as it is to sell 10 dozen.
Is Trevor gonna hatch out?
I
Yes.
don't. We're getting an incubator room. You know, GBO, I made more money off goats than just about anything else we ever messed with. I made good money off goats until the market died. One day, just like you snap your fingers, the market died. But until that happened, we did really good with goats. Really, really good with goats. I'm making a living worth every year with goats. But we had goats before everybody else did, and we had a good market, and we were hauling some out of state to sell them. I mean, we were doing really good. I was thinking outside the box. I don't know if we invented it or not, but and I may have got the idea from somewhere and just didn't realize I got the idea. But we had organic lot clearance set up where we would rent out goats. We would go to your place, put up the fence, put the goats in it. You paid daily rent on the goats. We looked after them. When they had the place cleaned up, we went and got them. And that took off. Never in my life would I thought that you could rent out a goat. And I was joking with a guy one day. He said he wanted goats but he really to clean up a place, but he really didn't want to buy them. And joking, I said, I'll rent you some. And started the whole thing. Well, you got to have cash flow, Desert. People don't understand cash flow. Cash flow is better than profit. If you got an agricultural business showing a cash flow, you can go borrow some money on it. You go borrow some, because that's where if you're going to get bigger, you're going to have to borrow money. And cash flow to the bank is more important than profit. They'd rather see a good cash flow than profit. And cash flow is what keeps you going. If you got cash flow, you stay in business on it, figure out how to make a profit. But if you can't make a cash flow, and I mean quick, you better be able to make a cash flow quick. If you can't make that happen, you're going to have a problem. And people don't know that. They don't know basic farm economics. Well, preacher, it made a killing. I hate to admit it. I felt bad about how much money we were making doing it. I'd have anywhere from 100 to 300 goats rented out for $10 a day. I had a full-time guy. All he did was ride around with a water tank and bags of feed on the back of the truck and go around and maintenance feed goats and fill up water troughs and move fences. We had a little bit of an investment in I made goat panels. I took cow panels, cut them up, welded tubing around them, hinged them together where you could make portable fencing that was escape proof because you know what a goat is. And I had portable shelters that could be set on the back of a flatbed truck by two people. They were very lightweight. They were built out of 1 inch thin wall tubing and tin, and they would blow away. If you had a storm, a bad thunder, like we have these bad thunderstorms, you had to pin them to the ground. We had rebar pins. We had to figure it out. Tell the preacher, best thing I ever done. That ain't bad, GBO. They sell them by the head here, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know what goats are bringing now. I haven't been to the auction in so long, and I think you might be right, Desert. I think this might be. Well, I'm gonna tell you maybe a little bit of a wives' tale. My daddy always told me that 3 years, like 83, 93, '03, were really good cow years. That a 3 year was always a good cow year, and he really believed that. And looking back at it, maybe a year off, like '02, I know was a good cow year in '02 because I bought a new truck with cows. So maybe something to that. It's 23 coming up, so or whatever it is. Is it 23, 2023? And I really don't know what goats are selling for here. Uh, I know when I sold out, we had a few old pet goats left 7, 8 years ago, and they were causing problems. Couldn't keep them in. I really couldn't afford to put up a good goat fence for the 4 or 5 we had, and I got mad and carried them to the sale. And I carried them on the wrong day. And I remember telling everybody, I said, well, I gave them away, carried them on the wrong day. They won't anybody bid on them. They probably won't bring, and I've had this happen, won't bring $20 for the whole herd. And 5 goats bought $1,600. So apparently they were selling pretty good, but these were really nice boar goats too. And the Billy brought real good money. We're gonna have to jump off here. I'm getting where I can't talk. And I said we're gonna quit at 9:30. We missed that a little bit. But there's a cash flow is an important thing. And something else I've been trying to convince people that it don't matter how good you are growing turnips. If nobody wants to buy a turnip, you ain't gonna make it work. I tried to explain it to somebody down the road the other day that if everybody in town wants a Ford truck opening up a Chevrolet dealership ain't gonna do you much good. And there's a lot of truth in that. You've got to have a product that people want. And around here, where we're small farm central, everybody's a retired farmer, everybody's got a few chickens in their backyard. You can't give an egg away. You can't give it, well, you can give rid of a chicken. Chickens actually sell pretty good, but you can't get rid of an egg. Good night, everybody. We're gonna try to jump on off here. We're gonna try. I got a video I really want to do talking about the same thing we're just talking about right there soon. And gonna try to start back. We may not do but one a month. We're gonna try to start back with the lives. And I appreciate everybody watching. Y'all have a good night.